right, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today for your coverage of our game against Virginia. We're being joined now by Coach Dabo Swinney, who will have some opening comments on today's game. Then we'll go to questions in the room, and if time permits, we'll go to questions virtually at the end. Coach, when you're ready, take it away.
All right, another awesome day, and just a beautiful day and great crowd. Again, just and then a special day with C.J. Spiller going in the Ring of Honor. That's really one of the coolest moments I've been a part of, and really thankful for that. That good Lord let me see that. That was awesome. But proud of our team. I knew Virginia's a tough team. Tony's got them going in the right direction. They probably could have won 2 other games, but that got away from them. But they're a tough, physical team that has, you can see the mentality, really growing. I knew it would be a tight game early, but proud of our guys and how they kind of weathered the storm. And really the third quarter was awesome. We really set the tone. 21 points in the third quarter, got control of the game. Really the first quarter, I thought offensively, really the whole day, we had really good rhythm and really good precision and execution in what we were doing. We just, we missed the that was just a bad play by Cade. It was just a terrible play, and that kind of killed that drive. And then we had Stellato for a first down, and just came, should have had that. And that's really it. That was only 2 punts in the first half, but really just awesome job in the second half offensively, really the whole time. Really proud of how we're playing, doing a lot of great things there. 539 yards and 7.2 yards per play, and 6 consecutive games of 6.5 yards per play. That's we think the first time in school history. So that's hard to do. We've had a lot of great offenses around here, but nobody's ever had 6 games in a row of 6.5 or more per play. And that's a credit to details and execution and really just the players buying in. Our quarterback is playing at a really, really elite level. Our offensive line, no sacks. They're playing really well. Maffa is just tough. He's a handful. And then we got guys making plays all over the field. I think we had 7 passes of 20 yards or more by 6 different guys. And, oh, by the way, Tyler Brown not dressed, Wesco not dressed. So I'm just really proud of the development. Grish has done an awesome job with our receivers, Kyle with those tight ends, Spiller with the backs, Matt with the OL, Garrett with Cade. It's just really fun to watch. Those guys are playing at a high level. And a lot of guys, Stellato's had a couple really good weeks in a row. I think he had a career high. Brenny got banged up, was able to come back and finish. But how about those 2 plays by Olsen? Those were 2 high-level plays. One just, running through trash, running through contact, and then the other one was we had 2 of the best completions that you'll ever see on 2 of the worst passes you'll ever see. One by Antonio and one by Cade. He threw a short hopper, and that's having coached skill my whole life. The hardest catch to make is a low ball, and to really and to be able to keep your feet, because you got to dig your fingertips underneath those balls. That's just really hard to do. And for him to dig that ball up in that situation too, knowing you're wide open, and keep his feet and go score. The degree of difficulty of that was 11 out of 10. It was awesome. Not a great throw, but wow. But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, clean when you touch it. You're supposed to clean it up, for your quarterback. But that was awesome. Brenny's just he's a workhorse for us, a lot like Maffa. Maffa, Brenny, Antonio, they just show up every week. They show up every single week, and really proud of those guys. Antonio, another great game, had a big rushing touchdown, and again, obviously the play. And I didn't know this till after the game. In fact, I just called Coach Elliott to make sure he knew it. But that's one of those, put it in the category of you can't make it up, right? Like the last time that a non-quarterback had a completion in back-to-back games at Clemson was 2002, Tony Elliott. It's crazy. So pretty cool, little stat there. But again, offensively, no sacks. Our OL just doing a great job, and a lot of guys are contributing. Defensively, I was really proud of how we stopped the run. We really shut the run down. I thought the first quarter was a little frustrating because we had the 2nd and 10, and we know this quarterback is a problem, and we let him run for it. And then 3rd and 17. Now we shouldn't have been there. That was off the turnover. We gave him a short field, but that doesn't excuse the 3rd and 17 draw. And we got a great call, and nobody rallies and makes the play. The kid runs for 19 yards, and then you get points. So, but outside of that first quarter, I thought we really played well defensively. 2nd and 3rd quarter, and then into the 4th quarter, all of a sudden, you got a big lead. You sub some guys, and next thing you know, I didn't see that in the last couple of weeks, but this week with some guys that got a chance to get in there and play, Tony wasn't subbing. Tony kept playing. He kept playing. He went no huddle, tempo, onside, and I'm like, okay, all right. And then he comes right back at Strozier, but he gives me credit for that. But it was a lot of opportunity in the 4th quarter for us to get some of these guys that we need to get better. The guys that are good enough to play, but I think sometimes they think they're not going to play, and they don't quite work through the week like they need to work. And so, that'll be something that we'll spend a lot of time on this week. But, hey, 4 sacks, tied a season high. Really should have had 6. We had 2 more just finish the play. We got the turnover back. That was really good. Not losing the margin. I was proud of them for that. It was awesome. Did a good job on 3rd down, and so a lot of good things in the game. Aiden was good. Hoosier made 2 more field goals. He's made every field goal we've attempted where we've blocked them. So I'm proud of him. And probably the other biggest disappointment for me was I didn't think we were as disciplined today as we need to be. Too many penalties, too many personal fouls. Coaches, we had one on us. We had 12 men in the game. That's really poor. You give them a 1st and 5 right there. So plenty of things discipline-wise that we can clean up. But at the end of the day, fun's in the winning. We got it done. And, again, special day. We're where we want to be. I mean, we're undefeated in September and October. And, the primetime phase of our journey is over. When we get back in the Valley on November 2nd, we've got a chance, and that's all you can ask for. So we just got to keep getting better. We got to all get better because at the end of the day, we're just 6-1, but we are in position. We've worked really hard to get to this point, but, man, it's just going to get tougher. The air gets thinner in November. Margin for error gets smaller. So we all got to improve. We all got to get better. And again, I think this is a really, really important week for our football team. We can't lose to Clemson this week. I say that every week. If we don't lose to Clemson, we're going to have a great week. And it's no different. Even though we're playing open, we've got to stay focused on what we got to do. It's a very big week. And especially, I don't ever remember having 2 open dates. I think maybe during COVID, maybe we had, I don't remember the last time we've had 2 open dates. But we're going to take full advantage of it. I promise you that. So I'm really happy that we've got this opportunity to kind of reset on some things. And a lot of people got a lot of film on you now. So it's a lot of opportunity for us, some self-scout, and a lot of things that we can improve on. But, again, a great win, proud of everybody. And it's Walker Park's birthday today, and Patrick Swigert's birthday today. So good day, fun day in the Valley.
So is QB2 getting tight between Antonio and CV at all?
Did you see that pass? Thank God he was wide open. I mean, he could have fair caught that thing. It was so bad. I mean, that was terrible. That looked like some of my birdies that I've had that you write 3 and you circle it, but it hit off a tree and went in. And you go, hey, no pictures on the scorecard, right? So, wow, what a terrible pass. But, man.
How important is it, though, for Antonio to be able to sell it on those trick plays?
It's big. I mean, it was big. It was, that was film study. Had a great design of play. Caught him in with 1 safety. Was able to lift the corner and do what we need to do right there. And, good little sell. Stellato, wasn't it? When that's Stellato, it was a good little sell by him. And, yeah, he's thrown the ball really well. I think he's been reading his press clippings all week. But that one was I didn't think it was going to ever come down. I thought the D tackle was going to catch up to it before it came down. But that was a great play, great call. And, as was the 4th and 1. I thought that was another great call. that, especially as a head coach, you're like, all right, boys, let's go. This is a big one here. That was another positive. We did a good job on fourth down. I think we were, what were we today? We were 11 of 17 on third and fourth down, and 2 for 2 on fourth down. So that's high level football. And I think we were 8 of our first 11, and then missed a couple late in the game, with some subs.
Did you feel like the defensive line sort of asserted itself to
Yeah.
take control after the 10 points?
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. I thought our D-line really, they controlled the run game. We affected the quarterback. We got after him. Again, for the most part, we contained him well. The one, they got outside us on the one they threw to Kobe off a little scramble, and we missed the tackle, and that was a nice little play. But for the most part, we squeezed him pretty good. And, I thought they were very, very good. Again, they're all frustrated because there were a couple more sacks there that we just didn't quite finish. But I thought they played well. I can't wait to watch the tape. I felt really good about what we were doing up front.
Was Barrett supposed to have safety help on that?
Yes,
deep ball?
corner help. Yeah, we're supposed to middle that. Yeah, it's just 3 deep. They just ran 2 verts. Just ran 2 verts. You got to middle it. That's an easy play, day one installation, and we just didn't do it. We just busted.
On your first drive, you had a touchdown call back, ineligible.
Yeah.
How do you coach the lineman?
Well, you don't change anything. That's a bang play, and Cade knew as soon as he threw it because it's off of your counter action right there. It's a bang play. It wasn't there, and so now he's scrambling around. He should just run for it right there because they don't know what he's doing. And if you hold the ball that long on an RPO, they're going to be downfield. So that was the right call, and he was open. But he knew right away. It's tough. That's tough. When you scramble like that on an RPO, you just got to keep that in your mind.
Good day offensively, 60% on third downs, 100% going 2 for 2 on those big fourth down conversions late in the game. Just another all-around great game. Sluggish start like last week at Winston-Salem. What are your thoughts on, as you mentioned, just everybody just doing their part and making their plays when y'all needed it most?
Yeah, again, I thought offensively, man, they came right out of the gate. That was a great drive. I know we got the field goal, but we were backed up. I think we were on the 10, maybe 11, and that was a great drive. And we ended up having the penalty. We got the field goal, and then the third quarter, we had a penalty. I think Sammy had a block in the back. Start on the 10-yard line, and we go 90 yards for a touchdown. That was awesome. I thought last week offensively we were a little sluggish to start, but this week they were ready. We only had 2 possessions in the first quarter. They possessed the ball on us with that long drive there, and then the second drive, Cade he just made a bad play. Because we had a good drive going right there. Just got the first down, and then we come on and run a little bootleg, and he just threw it right to the guy. But and then we go, touchdown, and started getting in a little bit of a rhythm there. So we only had 2 non-scoring drives in the first half. So good rhythm, and then again defensively, I was just probably the biggest thing in the first half was the 3rd and 17. That was really disappointing, and then just a couple of little miscues that we cleaned up as the game went.
What are your thoughts on kind of a reunion, Tony Elliott, Kobe Pace, Sage Ennis kind of coming home?
Yeah, I saw Sage. I didn't get a chance to see Kobe, unfortunately, but I got a chance to see Kobe. And Sage, but I got to see Lindsey. I got to see Adam Choice. Schmoes over there. We got there's a lot of Clemson people. Maverick Morris is, I think, with him. And he's got a good group over there. But it was fun to spend time with Tony. That was awesome to see Ace and AJ. Golly. Hadn't been around them day to day now in a couple of years, and they have just shot up. And great to see Tamika. They're like I said, they're family, and really cool that they were here for CJ being honored, and that was something I know he takes a lot of pride into. He's been a great mentor for CJ, and as he got into coaching, and really cool to. Obviously, they have known each other a long time, but it was unique. It was something different for me, and fun. But once you kick the game off, you want to smash them, and they want to smash you. So that's all good. That's the way it should be. But man, there's nobody I love more than Tony Elliott. He is truly, one of the great people in my life.
To see Troy Stellato take that big pop, I think, to start the fourth quarter and just get right back up. Just what does that say about his toughness, and just what are your thought process on that?
Yeah, he's a tough kid. He's kind of duct taped together out there every week, honestly. But he keeps on going. I mean, he's a tough-minded kid. He loves to play. He loves to play. He don't always like to practice. We're working on that. But he loves to play. I mean, that kid is as tough as they come when it comes to competitiveness, and just really. And I think a lot of that's just driven by, oftentimes when you have to lose something to really have the proper appreciation for it. And he couldn't even play for a couple of years around here. I mean, and so I just think he has a great appreciation for the opportunity to go play and to seize the moment and take advantage of opportunity. And he's done that. So again, I mean, Tyler Brown's he's been a non-factor. He's rolling around on a scooter, and Wesco, he's pretty good, and he's in street clothes. Those are two really, really good players, and guys are just stepping up and making plays. And Troy's been one of those guys that has really been really, really steady and made some timely catches for us.
Just going updates on Brown and Wesco.
Well, Tyler, we did the tightrope, so those just vary. I mean, we did it on Tyler Davis, and I think he was back in 2 weeks. So I think it's just kind of it just depends on who the person. So we're hopeful, especially with an open date, that he's going to make some really good strides. And and he was doing good, but he just kind of plateaued, and we just couldn't get him over the hump. So they made that decision. So hopefully that'll help him, kind of that last little piece of healing. And then Wesco, we're hopeful after the open date he's ready to go. So he's doing everything he needs to do. So we'll know more probably next Monday when we get into Louisville week.
Just going back to Tony Elliott, you mentioned how once the game starts it doesn't matter, but after UVA's final touchdown, so you kind of give him a tip of the cap, a little bow. What was that moment like? Yeah,
it was a good call. I mean, he went at our young corner out there and, took a little shot. So, I saw him smiling over there. So I just tipped my hat to him. They kept playing. They kept playing. So I tried to call the dogs off, but, he wouldn't let me. So he
like to see CJ as emotional as he was down there on the field, what Clemson means to him, what he means to Clemson. It was pretty emotional.
It really was. He's 37 years old now, and I've known him since he was about 16. And talk about emotional, we're getting ready to leave the building yesterday. I'm getting ready to go get on the bus at we leave at 4:40, 4:40 to go to the hotel. And I'm about to walk out of my office, and right when I'm going to walk out of my office, CJ walks in, and he hands me this big cardboard, envelope thing. I thought it was a picture in it. Maybe he signed a picture or something. I didn't know. And I opened it up, and he walks out and gave me a big hug and just talking about, how thankful he was for the opportunity in this weekend. And he had written me one of the greatest letters I've ever had I mean, it really just made me sit down at my desk to just read what he wrote. It was so special and meaningful. And it was just, like I said, I'm thankful that the good Lord, I knew he'd go in the Ring of Honor one day, but I'm just glad that the good Lord let me be here to see it. And there'll be more that will have an opportunity. But, man, CJ, he's special. He really, truly is one of the first people to believe in me. And I really don't think that I'm here, without him. He really changed Clemson. I said that in the deal. Why is Clemson putting him in? Why did we choose him? Because he chose Clemson, and the rest is history. So just he's special. I love his whole family, and it's just awesome to be able to do life with him at this point. CJ was a guy that always would come back every year. He'd come back, and right before he'd go to training camp, he'd come and he'd want to spend a day, and we'd sit and we'd talk, and and he just has always had this plan for his life and what he wanted to do, and it's really cool to see him living it out. And he's special. I mean, he's just truly a great human being, and it's really cool to see him honored. I don't think people really understand how good he was. I mean, he was spectacular. There's records that probably won't be broken, what he did at Clemson. And, man, if you put him on a team like this, he would be – and he might be video game material. But it was an awesome moment. It was awesome. And I'm happy for his family. And just, he's a great father, great husband. And it was definitely emotional, but enjoyed every second of it.
What was your read on that situation where the UVA player got ejected and some guys from the bench?
I didn't really know what happened. I still don't really know what happened other than
Him and Tristan, I think.
yeah, they got into it. I don't know if the guy, I don't know. Must have been something for him to eject the guy. But, yeah, it was a little scuffle. I don't really know what happened.
Good job by Hannafin to secure that onside kick.
Yeah.
They got the bounce they wanted on that.
Yeah, it was actually we had two of them. I think Olsen had the second one. And so, you work on onside every single week. You do that every single week. We work on it on Mondays, work on it in our specialty period. We work on it every Thursday. We take 5 minutes or so, and we just work onsides. You don't ever know when those situations are going to come up. So it was really, really good. And a great job again by Ronan and Olsen to secure the ball in that situation.
Big Burley was out for today's game. What is his status? And I guess.
Yeah, day to day. So he wasn't able to go today. So hopefully he'll be ready to play open this week when we get back at it.
I know T.J. Moore previously said, reverted some bad habits in other games. I mean, what have you seen from him in his growth?
Just steady. He's since that first game, or I guess that was his first start, and he didn't really play well in that game. As far as some little things we need him to do, but he's just been really businesslike, really steady, and made some big plays today. He had the PI, and he had the big dig route. It was a really, really good play right there. Obviously had the touchdown at the end of the game. So he's a really good player, but I told him on the sideline, you better use some of that NIL money and go buy Harris dinner. Those Harris Sewell saved him on that fumble. 55 went and got it. So I was really proud of Harris. But it's pretty easy to see. He's a special player. Attacks the ball, he runs through the ball. He's just sticky and very smooth, and he's just going to keep getting better. Grish has done a really good job with him as far as just, what we're asking him to do week in and week out, and his confidence is really growing. He's got a bright future.
Putting the first team offense back out there in the fourth quarter, that had something to do with what you were talking about earlier, Tony?
Yeah. I mean, to his credit, I'm trying to call the dogs out, but he's that's what I told those guys. Guys, when we put the subs in, they don't call timeout and say, oh, they put the backups in, let's put our backups in. They don't do that. Doesn't work that way. And, so they went tempo, and they're no huddle, and they're flying down the field and score on those guys. And then they onside it. It's 16 points, but it's technically a 2-score game. So I'm like, all right, well, we're going to go score again. And so we did. And then we put the subs back in there, and they go right at 1. But hey, Strozier's got to get better. He's got to get better. He's got a job to do. I mean, he's a talented kid, and he hadn't played a lot, so you got to learn from it. Got to get better.
You mentioned the tempo. It seemed like early in the game when they had some of the big plays, you guys weren't really getting lined up at the snap. Did you?
I mean, I saw a little bit of that with our subs late in the fourth quarter, but early on, I don't recall that. I'll have to see that early, But, I mean, their biggest play was the 3rd and 17, off the turnover. That was the biggest play of the whole first half. Quarterback draw. And we had the exact call that you need to have in that situation, and we didn't get it done. So I was really disappointed. That was the biggest play. And that led to a score. And again, offense put them in a bad situation, but that doesn't excuse that right there. So I thought we did a good job, especially in the second quarter. But latter part of the game, and we were getting the call in plenty of time, but they just were slow to communicate and get lined up, with some of those guys that we had in the game.
You said going into the season, that people around the country are gonna know who Wade Woodaz is. How about the season that he's having?
I mean, he's pretty good. He's a great he's a great kid, first of all. He's a great leader. He's an unbelievably committed guy to his team. He's a great teammate. He's really smart. He's worked his butt off to become a great player. And, he's not just a talented guy. He's a great player. A lot of details, a lot of studying. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. And he's really, really fun to coach. That kid's a baller. He's going to play football for a long time. I'm glad we got him.
Any questions for Coach virtually? Anybody else in the room?
Antonio Williams missed a few games last season due to injury. Now he's leading the team in receiving yards and having a great season. How awesome is it to see him bounce back like this and put together such a strong season?
It's awesome. I'm really happy for him, and I'd say the same thing about him that I said about Stellato. Sometimes you really have to – sometimes you either have to lose something or be in danger of losing it to really, truly appreciate it. And especially when you really play maybe more than you should play early in your career. And, I think he's an example of that. But, I mean, by game 3 last year, our 2 starting receivers were out. Cole was done for the year, and Antonio was done. And Antonio was able to come back and play in the bowl game, but done for the year. And that was a real strain on us, especially with those are guys. And Stellato wasn't out for the whole – I mean, he didn't get cleared till the Duke game. So all these guys you've been throwing to, they're not there. And you don't have a lot of rhythm in what you're doing. And Adam was battling off an injury as well. So, man, I'm really happy for Antonio. He's been awesome. I mean, but it's this – what you're seeing is just a reflection of the work that he put in that when the stands are empty. That's what he bought into. And, I mean, it started in January. And he has been a relentless worker, detailed guy, teammate, leader, you name it, complete ownership of that position since January. And, I mean, it has really, really paid off. And he's been awesome every week. I mean, how many games in a row, how many touchdowns? He scores like every week. I mean, he just makes plays, and we're doing a lot of different things. He plays all 3 positions. He's got ownership of all 3 positions. He's just very invested. So I'm really happy for him. He's a great example he's a great example for a guy like Tyler Brown, who obviously, it hadn't gone the way he wanted it to go this year. But, man, I think Antonio's, really been a great encouragement to him. So proud of him. He's one of the most consistent players on our team.
How's Quinn Costner doing after his moped?
Yeah, he's doing good. I mean, just text back and forth with him the other night. He's lucky. I mean, it's disappointing, obviously, because he's done as far as being able to do something, what he wants to do. I mean, being ready as a kicker for us, but he's still part of our team, and just thankful he's going to be okay. Broken bones will heal up, but very, very fortunate that it wasn't worse. So I'm happy that he's going to be okay, and I know his team, everybody's reached out to him to wish him well, and so hopefully I'll see him here this week soon.
Coach, describe today was Breast Cancer Awareness Day, your All-In Foundation. I mean, just the years that foundation has done for people and what this game means to people. I mean, just kind of wrap it all up with how the day was so special for people outside this place and also who are part of this family.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's so much more to life than football, and I know it's important, but there's people out there that are really battling with some really tough situations, and I know intimately what it's like to have a loved one deal with cancer, my dad died of lung cancer, Cass' sister died of breast cancer. I've had lots of friends and, other family members. It's we've all been impacted by that. And so it's really cool when you see people come together and help use this platform that we're so blessed with to help other people, whether it's raising money to buy a bus that can do free mammograms, or it's raising money for research that creates opportunity for people whether it's better treatment, earlier prevention, whatever that is. I mean, it's just a blessing, and there's so many people that are part of it. And the Tigers for Tatas, that is such an awesome campaign, and you know, the Roar is amazing. I think I'm going over to Jersey Mike's on Wednesday and do some stuff. And I love, you know, I've had this is my belt jacket, $45. I think it's about 8, 9 years old. I'm losing buttons though. I'm down to 2 over here. I need somebody to sew some buttons on this thing for me, but you know, it's always fun, you know, to just, because the pink, I think a day like today just brings a lot of hope to a lot of people. And we had a young man that graduated from Clemson, Weston V-Hill, and he was an engineering grad here in 19. And last year at this time, he was diagnosed with this rare type of cancer, and he's been battling for a whole year, chemo out in Arizona where his job is. His family's from this area, but his mom had reached out like during the season last year, and you know, was getting us to try to encourage Weston, and Weston ended up encouraging us as a team. So it was really cool because Weston was able to come to the game today, and he came and got a chance to visit with the team yesterday at our walkthrough. And he's still got a couple more treatments that he's got to do, but it was pretty cool from where he was this time last year to where he is now, and it was really neat for the team. So, you know, I just think that there's a lot of great awareness that gets created, and hopefully a lot of people, you know, that have the opportunity just to smile and know that people care about them, and people are thinking about them, and people are trying to do something to help, you know, help other people that are in need. And to me, that's what it's all about.
Anybody else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Okay, appreciate it. See y'all right here for versus Open next Saturday. Right here. Kickoff time, noon.